summary, what do you think it's all about?
I just think, Papa Boy, that, and I guess you probably do pray, but I just think what I receive from the Lord is every time before you actually give a message, there needs to be a powerful prayer. And if you have a seer, to see if anything needs to be pulled out.
Yeah.
But what I saw was pretty powerful.
So what?
What I saw was pretty powerful. I mean, the claws and the knife. But then I think to just kind of stay there and pray in the spirit, that helped. Because I couldn't go up there and grab it. Everybody's watching you. So it's like,
Should have got it.
but yeah, actually, and then your face took on all these changes, and I thought, okay, maybe it's just my vision, but I could just see the changes, and I thought, oh man, I just gotta pray, and that's what I did.
I appreciate your thoughts. I oftentimes hear people talk about things that are attached, but there's some substance to what you have to say that I don't find in most people's words. Yeah. So anyway, you guys want to talk about something this morning, or?
Not anything in particular. For me, like when I kind of sat in the afterglow of Saturday, the passage Luke 23:49, where Jesus says, and now you're about to receive the promise of the Father, and basically you're postured to wait.
Yeah.
Which is really difficult to do, because you get this word like something's going to happen. It's going to be very, very exciting. Now wait.
Yeah.
But you're like really antsy. Like for me, like I'm strategic, and I plan things out, and I feel like I can't. It's not something that can be planned.
Yeah.
But there's a wonderful sense of anticipation, because the word spoken at this staff meeting last April now has a little bit more form to it. It seems it's developed.
Yeah.
And spread. I think there's a few people that are now also anticipating the same thing. So yeah, we're just in that. I guess. Is there anything you would elaborate on in terms of the season that we're in currently as we anticipate the baptism of the Father in greater measure? Yeah.
Yeah, I would, and I think that there's a couple of things connected here, and I've tried and did speak during that Saturday. I do remember that much anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The experience that I had 16 months ago is really significant. Nobody could understand that except me, of the change that's really come into my life.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that experience, if I was to put that in combination with the other things that would follow, the outpouring of the Father's love, the restoration of the relationship Father and Son, etc., and becoming the expression, that single experience, I believe, as I've ministered since I saw you last, and we ministered there, I believe there's an invitation that's waiting for whosoever. And I've come to the place now where I'm trying to help people understand the preparation that I actually went through, which wasn't my planning, but I can look back now and understand the process that took place. So now I'm trying to I'm distributing things to them which were on that pathway of preparation that I can identify. Believing that the most significant thing that can happen in this hour is that we literally get delivered from a walk in the flesh into a real walk of the Spirit. And I wouldn't have been able to define that for you before. I would have, I would have wrapped it up in some spiritual phenomena, and never really dawned on me that I was just going in and out of two different realms, and that ultimately there was that place that I needed to move to. I see that now, and because it changes everything. The manner in which I see people today changes everything. The removal of those standards of judgment, it's a remarkable thing to me to no longer be looking at some kind of good, bad, right, wrong standard anymore. I just don't see them anymore.
Right.
I listen to things. We were somewhere. Oh, that's my phone somewhere. It's okay. We were somewhere the other day, and I think she was starting to get what was going on. She was listening to somebody who thought they were saying the same thing that I was saying, and she kind of went, yeah, and she knew that I was hearing something. I knew that they were on a different page than I was, but they thought I was on the same page. Yeah, yeah, they thought we were together in the conversations. Yeah, you with me?
Yeah.
And so this thing has remarkably changed me, to be free of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and that orphan spirit and mindset. And not that I had I was not heavily into that orphan mindset, even though I'm an orphan.
Sure.
But when I was completely free to just see myself as a son and embrace my father's love, then everything really changed. So I see this happening, and I see the Lord just offering this invitation to whosoever. I may have mentioned during that meeting up there, there's always a preparation for an upcoming event, kind of thing, that God never just drops it in on you. And so since then, I've seen people who had a lady in a meeting a couple of Fridays ago, I guess, or something. She stood up right in the middle of the meeting. I had talked about stepping over that line of those tiles, and she stood up and she said, "I want that."
Yeah.
You know, she was the only one in the room that stood up and did it, but that was the invitation coming to her, and I have to believe as she just kind of went through the motions that were appropriate, the responses that were appropriate, and we prayed over her. I think she's going to begin to experience that same thing. Well, for that to happen brings a radical change to everything.
Yeah.
And as it increases, then it becomes, hopefully it becomes infectious. And, you know, I think that's what we're meant to be. I think we're meant to be an infectious people.
That's right.
Amen.
Whose lives
Yeah.
bring out something else. So I see that happening, and you know, I see many things that can happen.